Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. You're watching Discussion Today with me, Tina Jha. Bengaluru, the IT hub of India, and the tourist town of Shimla are the most livable cities in the country as per the government's Ease of Living Index 2020. So while Bengaluru has been rated the best city on ease of living parameters among 49 million plus population cities, Shimla grabbed the top rank among 62 cities with a population under 1 million. In the million plus category, Bengaluru is followed by Pune, which slipped from its top position earlier. Ahmedabad, Chennai, Surat, Navi Mumbai, Coimbatore, Vadodara, Indore and Greater Mumbai. While in the less than million category, Bhubaneshwar has been ranked number 2 behind Shimla, followed by Silvassa, Kakinada, Salem, Vellore, Gandhinagar, Gurugram, Davangere and Tiruchirappalli. A total of 111 cities were judged in the index that was released on Thursday. On Discussion Today, we will be analysing the Ease of Living Index 2020, the parameters on the basis of which the cities have been assessed, and of course, the significance of these rankings. Joining me on the program are two distinguished panelists. So first, let me introduce them to you. We have with us on the program Mr. Sudhir Krishna. He is former Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and Professor Chetan Vaidya. He is former Director, School of Planning. Welcome, gentlemen, on this edition of Discussion Today on Rajya Sabha TV. So, Mr. Krishna, let me begin the program today with you by first understanding the parameters broadly on the basis of which the cities have been assessed in the Ease of Living Index 2020.
There are 4 broad categories on which the cities have been assessed. The first is the quality of living index, and the second is the economic ability, environmental sustainability, and then citizen perception. And they have given weight. The survey system has given weight of 35, 15, and I think 20 and 30% to these 4 indicators. And there are sub-indicators like quality of water and how much regular is the water supply, the student-teacher ratio in the primary schools, the energy supply versus energy generation, and the solid waste management, preparedness of the cities to handle disasters, and crime situation in the city, and such like that. There are numerous parameters are there, aggregated to give an index for every city. And they have classified cities into 2 categories. One is the million plus cities, and second is the below million cities. So these are the 2 broad categories, and the composite index has led to assessment of the ranking of the cities. And these indicators are broadly in line with the Sustainable Development Goals of what the UN has mooted, and also the development standards for sustainable habitats that the Bureau of Indian Standard has launched. I think these are all aligned, so a very good framework has been initiated by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and I think it's a very good beginning for the cities to improve their living standards and quality of life for the citizens.
Okay, Professor Vaidya, so what do you think of these rankings? Mr. Krishna says it's a good framework that has been started by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. But help us and our viewers understand the significance of this kind of assessment. How do they help?
They help to understand where the city is standing and what steps the cities could take to improve themselves. I think both things together this index is giving, and over a period of time, the municipal officials, the state government, urban officials will be able to know what step they would take up to improve their own cities. This is a very good opportunities for cities this index is providing, so that they could compete with each other, and then the citizens, the mayors, the municipal commissioners will be asked by the citizens how you are responding to the situation. I think that is what it gives a good starting point for competition.
Okay. Mr. Krishna, what's different in the index this time around, although it happened just before the lockdown, but compared to the previous 2 years, 2018, 2019, what has been different in the index this time around?
Well, there is some refinement in terms of the focus on economic parameters like Gini coefficient and things like, of course, citizen survey was there before also. But what I would like to say is that these indicators and the ranking should not be taken as a standalone effort, and the cities, because there is a danger that cities which are low in the ranking may feel disheartened, and cities that are very high may feel relaxed that they are on top and there is nothing much to be done. So I think there is a great caution I would like to recommend, that previous ranking and this ranking, those who are like Indore, like cities were very high, maybe it was second, first it has become second. That should not mean that every city should not try to improve. So what I would recommend is that cities must take this as a, first of all, they should improve themselves. And of course, I totally agree with the recommendation that there should be competition among the cities. But competition should come as step number two. Step number one, for every city, there should be a benchmark for itself as to where it is now and where it wants to go and should go. And that's a complex arrangement. It should take all the parameters into consideration. Please take note that while Bangalore is number one, and it does not mean that Bangalore is number one in all the parameters.
Yes.
For example, in terms of economic ability, Bangalore is very high. Obviously, a lot of economic activities. But in terms of other parameters, quality of life, in terms of sustainability indicators, it is not all that high. So it should not mean that Bangalore, I'm giving an example of Bangalore, same for other cities also. Bangalore should not feel that they have reached the top and they should not do anything more now. That will not be good for the city itself. So we should identify every single parameter, and for which two levels of marking, two levels of figures should be there for every city, available on their website, available to everyone, where it is now and where it ought to go.
Absolutely.
And I would also suggest that this must become like a roadmap for city. That I'm here now, my say my water supply level is now say 5 hours a day. I want to reach 8 hours in 1 year, 12 hours in another year, and 24/7 in the third year. That kind of step-by-step improvement in every single thing, whether it is water supply, whether it is energy supply and crime level and so on and so forth. In everything, every city must try to reach the a certain standard. And for that, they must prepare an action plan, which should be like, under JNNURM, we used to have city development plan, and now also under Amrit and so on, such frameworks are there. So I suppose this indicator, the ease of living index, should be taken as a guideline and not merely a figure to rejoice or to feel bad that I'm low or I'm very high. I would recommend it for all the cities, this way of adopting it.
Definitely. Let me take that question to Professor Vaidya, so that, cities that are below in the rank and those who are above, they should not feel relaxed, and those who are below in the rank should not feel disheartened. What is to be done to encourage, of course, those who are faring badly, and to also sustain the performance of those who are doing fairly better? What would you suggest?
I think Government of India has now a number of incentives, particularly through various urban missions. And that is something we need to focus on. Each city could make use of Smart City, Amrut, NULM, National Urban Livelihood Mission, and of course, Housing for All, to improve its living conditions. Moreover, I think there is a corresponding index developed by the ministry, which is Municipal Performance Index. We'll have to work both together. Unless we improve the municipal local systems, our urban systems are not going to improve. And this is where we need to focus on empowering our urban local bodies, both with functionaries and finances. And that is something where we need to look at 74th Constitutional Amendment. Many of the states have not handed over sufficient functions and finances to urban local bodies and the corresponding staff. That is one issue we should look at closely, along with the ease of living index.
Okay. Mr. Krishna, so, when we talk about states that are doing fairly well and the states that are not, the effort is, of course, to encourage healthy competition, and so that the states that are not doing well, the cities that are not doing well, should emulate from the best practices of the others. But what are the efforts that are required to do so that the states that are doing good on certain parameters and their best practices are adopted by those that are not?
You see, there is a very surprising trend that I notice from the cities that are in the ranking. In the top 10 cities, 9 are from south of the Narmada. Except for Indore, all are from south of Narmada. When I went further down and added 10 more cities, this is a top 20, 3 more are added. Only 4 are from north of Narmada. I think Ludhiana and Delhi and one more city is there. So there is an issue. We should not, I'm just saying that planners and policymakers' perspective, because I agree with Professor Vaidya that cities must work hard and they should be empowered. But there are certain environmental issues are also there, which help city to achieve their best. One example I will say, in south of Narmada, the literacy levels are much higher than north of Narmada. I do not know Narmada why I am taking Narmada, but I could only the way I could divide the top and bottom is like that. The southern states, the literacy levels are high, the educational facilities are much higher. So why I am saying this is that states should invest, not merely going by the ranking, and so that's important, all right. But environment comes by way of higher level of literacy. Very, very important it is, followed by other infrastructure which are basic like health facilities. If people are healthy, now go in for literacy level, go in for longevity level, and analyze that why the cities are doing well, not merely straight away cause and action. There are overarching causes are there, which I said that. And so this is one side, environmental issues like good quality and penetrating level of education at all levels, primary and upward and up to higher education level. And similarly, the quality of water supply, healthcare facilities, that is one side. Then coming to core city infrastructure, cities that are developing well, all the cities which are higher in rank, they have got very much better public transportation system than cities that are lower in rank. So what is cause, what is effect is an issue. So I would recommend that the cities must focus on improving public transportation system. Now, it does not mean that everybody should chase metro rail system, metro rail system. It is like public transport means bus system also. A bus system is a very good public transport system, particularly for cities which are less than 1 million population, and even going to even smaller level of less than 1 lakh population, walkways and so on and so forth. That is like it helps cities to allow people to move around, access better quality of education, access better quality of healthcare facilities, and even women can access better quality of employment opportunity if public transport is better available, and it leads to improvement in the city's status in every way. So there are overarching factors which have to be taken care of by the governments of state and the government of India, which municipalities may not be able to handle on their own. And of course, coming back to city itself, there are issues like how the taxation systems are managed better, how public grievances are handled better, how water supply is handled better, how solid waste is managed better. These are the things which municipalities have to do themselves. But overarching things, state will have to give support, and government of India will have to give hand-holding support, not so much of financial support. I should tell you also that to all the viewers that cities are the generators of wealth. Cities create wealth. So therefore, it is a paradox that cities feel starved of wealth, of resources to generate finances, to improve infrastructure. These 2/3 of the country's GDP comes from cities. It is the cities which have got money.
Yes.
So only thing is how the money is properly utilized, first of all mobilized, and after mobilization, how it is deployed and where it is deployed. These are very critical issues. So I am sure this is a very good opportunity for cities to do introspection, and the governments at higher level, at the central and the state level, to examine carefully as to why this disparity is there, and blindly chasing number one rank. I dare say that Srinagar can never hope to become a Bangalore, and they should not also. Srinagar is the bottom of the list. I have got great regard for Srinagar. They have got their own strength, their own beauty, and they must nurture their beauty with basic parameters.
Certainly, I
of
think it's
healthcare,
all
water
about
supply,
just
etc.
identifying the gaps that are obstructing growth and then work towards it. Professor Vaidya, so Mr. Krishna spoke about support from the government, the states, of course, and there are some areas that require hand-holding. So in that regard, if we talk about Tell us about the initiatives, particularly towards urban development, that have been undertaken by the government.
I think Government of India has taken a number of initiatives now. One of them is Smart City Initiative. Other is Amrut to improve overall infrastructure of the cities. Third is Housing for All with focus on housing. And recently, affordable rental housing has been added to that. So the problem of immigrants' housing could be taken care of. And finally, there is National Urban Livelihood Mission to take care of the poor. So all these four together is working towards improved urban systems, and parallelly now we have 15th Central Finance Commission, which has given lot of money to urban local bodies, but they also expect that the urban system in India would produce, will set up, the state government will set up State Finance Commission. They will give a floor rate, minimum floor rate for property tax, and we'll have accounted municipal accounts, audited municipal account. So all that is a welcome steps. And recently, Smart City has taken up number of initiatives like cycling for all, Smart City Innovations Exchange, Street for People, Climate Change Framework for Cities, Community Spaces, and there is going to be a National Urban Digital Mission which connects urban sector with the digital sector. So all these initiatives are being taken, but I think one step has to be taken. The major step has to take place at the state government level. After all, urban is a local subject. There is limited what the central government can do. It can only provide incentives and guidelines. And this is where I will like to take again an example from South India, which is Kerala. Kerala has made its mayors powerful, and there are executive mayors. They run the cities. It is not the municipal commissioner appointed by the state government. It is run by the mayors of that city. There's a system where 30% of the budget, which is called people's budget, 30% of the total budget is managed by local bodies. And it has also a lot of services on the ground level handed over by the local bodies, both rural and urban. So these are the kind of efforts and steps which we need. And there is a culture, and there is also what is called as Kudumchari, where women self-help groups help the cities to manage number of services. That all together provides empowered local government. And that is one of the reasons why Kerala did better in phase 1 and 2 than many other states. So I think a concentrated efforts is required, both at the national level, state level, as well as at the city level. That is my strong suggestion to you, madam.
Okay. So, Mr. Krishna, I think both of you spoke on the same lines that it is also to do with the level of literacy, and perhaps that's why the cities down Narmada are doing fairly better as compared to those here. And in that regard, cities in Bihar, in fact, the national capital also, they don't figure in the top 10 even. The cities from Delhi, the cities from Bihar and other states in the north don't figure in the top 10 as well. Is it just the level of literacy or something more? Are there challenges towards implementation? Because initiatives clearly are there. There is money as well. But where are we lagging then?
To some extent, there are factors, causative factors are there. As I said before, that there are overarching factors are there. And one of the overarching factor, of course, is education literacy. Other is that empowerment of municipalities. The municipalities in general, I am saying that. 74th constitutional amendment is common to whole country, but then it has given option to the states to bring it to reality to the extent the state legislatures decide, and of course often it is delegated further to the state government. So in general, the municipalities in the southern states and south of Narmada, again if I can say, are more empowered than the cities in the north. In general, I would say. Yes. There are of course exceptions are there here and there. So empowerment leads to, see, the Government of India funds are commonly available to all. The Government of India doesn't pick and choose as to who should partake this mission fund or that mission fund. So it is the capability of the local body concerned, municipality concerned, to absorb that opportunity through the whatever, not only national mission, even state programs are there. Almost every Government of India mission, more or less, has got a parallel program from the state government in most states. So there is a double benefit for the municipalities. But benefit is only in terms of availability of resources. To absorb those resources by way of making proper plans, secure money, utilize the funds, utilize it properly, and so on, reach it to the people. It requires managerial effort and that governance framework. So that governance framework is stronger. And I'm not just trying to say that it is stronger in South and be happy. No, where we have to learn from each other.
Yes,
So
of
where
course.
it is strong, how to replicate it in the other parts of the country. There is no, I do not feel there is any lack of capability in any of the cities, whether the city of Patna or a city of I would say that Kanpur or whatever. They are as capable, but they should be strengthened. Their hand should be strengthened. Maybe they may require more hand holding, because over time they might have not retained the capacity to be as good as they should be. But within no time they will pick up. Technology is available to one and all. A very good staff is available, and some hand holding, and cities of North India can equally show good results. So I think this ease of living index has given an opportunity, and coupled with the municipal performance index that has to also to be examined. Definitely better days are ahead, and possibilities are there for cities to improve the quality of service and the quality of life for the people.
And there is scope for this quality of life to be further strengthened even in the cities that are high up in the rank. For example, one area of concern which the residents themselves have pointed out is the shortage of water, both in Bengaluru and Shimla, which have topped their respective categories. Mr. Krishna?
Yes, actually, I should say that recycling of water is the panacea, is the resolution of all water supply problem of every city, big or small. You see, the cities are not recycling and reusing the recycled water where they can. Just take a common household. Yeah, normally 100 liter per capita is the standard water supply targeted. But do you consume even 20 liter a day? Does a person, it is not a family requirement per head. So you consume just about 5 liter of water, or maybe for bathing purpose you add another 10-15 liter. Rest is for, it is like for other purposes where recycled water can be used. But cities are not recycling enough water, and Bangalore is a very good example because they are not by the side of any river. They do not have the lakes also, much of the lakes also remaining. Whatever lakes are there, they are absolutely not fit for drinking as far as water is concerned. So they have to import water from far away, several kilometers away from Kaveri and other, whichever river they can. Kaveri is the main river. So even so, Delhi also same problem, that they are water, they by side of river, and where is the river? So like that. So recycling of water is the fundamental requirement, one. And number two, the water bodies must be, preserved and improved for the terms of preventing the waste to flow into the water bodies, whether it is sewage or whether it is solid waste. And so the available water will become good, and recycled water will help for industrial purposes, construction activities, garden activities, and many other activities, even flushing water
That perhaps is the
in
biggest
the
challenge,
household
because we've
toilets
been
and so
trying to
on.
do it for so many years. There are multiple efforts both at the central and the state level, but not much is being, seen on that front. Professor Vaidya, so when it comes to cleaning of rivers and of course taking management of water, that looks like the biggest challenge that our cities face today. And what is the solution
True.
going forward?
I sincerely believe that we need to link up water security with our master planning process. I think in case of Clean Ganga mission, those efforts are being made where we are linking our urban planning process with water security and cleaning the waters. But I think two things in general I would like to mention. I'm taking up more on the governance issue. One is we need to improve capacity of the municipal local bodies and urban systems, improve capacity both in terms of staff, training, and research. And second is the municipal leadership should communicate with the citizens. Communication should be the second focus of improving governance in India's urban system. I will focus on these two issues.
Absolutely. So there is no doubt ease of living has been one area that has been emphasized by this government. Clearly, there have been various initiatives that Professor Vaidya has spoken about in this regard. There have been several impact as well, as the ranking suggests, but there is, of course, a lot of scope for further improvement. On that note, I'll have to call it a wrap on this edition of Discussion Today. Thank you to both my guests for joining me on the program and sharing your thoughts on the subject with us. Pleasure having you on the program. So that's it from us on Discussion Today. Thank you for your time.